All right, this is Mike, and I am here with Jack Harvell and Tim Schmidt, and we are looking at Elite Serum. Actually, hopefully this is, yeah, I believe it should be showing Jack's screen, of course, because I'm seeing it. And Jack, it's so gracious of you because we're actually going to get to see Jack's really an ace at pay-per-clicks, the way that he goes after keywords, his research method for it, his system for having a system for really getting in depth with keywords and finding a lot of gems that can be, some of them are going to be high volume, some of them are going to be low volume. We're going to wind up with a big, broad keyword list, and it's going to be very efficient for getting conversions. And Jack, this is something that you pointed out to Liz, and she got so excited about it. She was blown away, and she ran home and she started testing with it, and she saw that the same kind of data, the same kind of results. And so we're really excited to be using this on the on Elite Serum.
Heck yeah, I'm excited too. I can't wait to see the results from it. It's a Yeah, there's a few different ways to do the method, and I know we're going to cover a couple of them, or one of the quicker ways to do it, and then we'll cover a little bit of the more in-depth way of doing it as well. But you could definitely get in there and find some really high converting gems, and it provides a lot of focus on your listing, not only from a sponsored ad standpoint, but also from a standpoint of what your priority should be for ranking within Amazon and ultimately ranking within Google. So it really focuses you in on what converts best on your listing by doing things this way, and then you can duplicate those efforts that are performing well for you through kind of strategic ways of adding different variations to your product, and also adding different unique type keywords in some listings, and just duplicating the traffic that you would be getting from a high converting keyword just by entering it into another campaign, more or less.
Great. So fundamentally speaking, what we're looking to do here is we're looking to kind of piggyback off of a couple of tools here: Merchant Words and Simple Keyword Inspector. And then we're also looking to piggyback on the work that our competition's done. Will ultimately be, as we go a little bit down the rabbit hole, looking at their titles, looking at their bullets, looking at their descriptions, looking even at their reviews and their questions and answers, to dig up potential keywords. We're going to start today mostly focusing in Merchant Words and in Simple Keyword Inspector, but we're going to follow up as this portion of the series progresses, and we're going to dig through our competitors, all those things I mentioned, their titles, their bullets, their descriptions, their reviews, and their questions, to find potential gems. We're going to build quite a large keyword list, and then we're going to use that to zero in on some top keywords, and optimize for pay-per-clicks and for um, optimize for SEO. Doing that, and there's a couple phases to this. We're going to start just by running an automated campaign, which is what we're focused on today. Just getting that automated campaign up and running. We're going to let it run for about a week, and then we'll check back in with it. Is that about correct?
Yeah, we're going to do that. We're also going to create 3 additional campaigns on top of that with some of the keywords that we're going to get from the Keyword Inspector. We just want to give multiple ways of doing that same kind of research to expand your keyword list out, and do so in a way that is controlled, to where it's not going to, you're not building keyword lists of 10,000 keywords and putting it all in one campaign. You're doing it strategically so you don't dilute your efforts. So if you take a lot of keywords and you shove them into one campaign and you just let it roll in a $200 a day budget or a $50 a day budget, then you're really not going to get an accurate view of how well keywords are going to convert on your listing, because it's too spread out and it's too diluted on that $50 or $200 a day. So by setting up the campaigns in smaller chunks, you're able to tell Amazon pretty much, hey, give me as much traffic as you possibly can on these 5 to 10 keywords. I typically don't go over 10 keywords in any one campaign, and I also don't go over 1 million search volume per month, as it it shows up in merchant words. So, and that's on a $50 a day budget. So no more than 10 keywords, no more than 10 million or 1 million search per month collectively. So if I have 10 keywords that add up to close to 1 million searches, then I'm good in that one campaign. But if I reach up to 8 keywords and it starts to go over 1 million searches per month, then I just leave that campaign at 8 keywords for each $50 that I'm running on a daily budget.
Great. And now, Tim,
So we'll set 3 of those
great.
we'll set 3 of those campaigns up, and then we'll also run an automated campaign.
Great. So we're going to set up 3 kind of targeted campaigns, 1 automated campaign. And Tim, obviously you're the inventor, and you've done just so much marketing with Elite Serum. So you're obviously very well informed as to some of the ways that you've made money with this, with different kinds of advertising campaigns. Certainly you've done a lot with SEO. You've done a lot with other various paid forms of paid advertising. But as we look through, we haven't done too much with this on Amazon pay-per-clicks. Is that about right?
Yeah, that's 100% correct.
All right, great. Just to give folks a high-level idea of what Elite Serum is and what the benefits are, just to give OMGers that perspective, this has been a very successful product for you, and we're really trying to revive it on Amazon. What is it, and what does it do?
It's a full facial rejuvenation serum. I hate to call it just an eye serum. It does get applied around the eyes. That's because that's where the majority of signs of aging really kind of set in stone. You can really tell someone's age if you look at the corners of their eyes. So what this aims to do is really alleviate some of those crow's feet you get around the corners of your eyes. It also lessens dark circles, which are just a big problem, either through genetic reasons or improper nutrition, lack of hydration, lack of sleep, stress. There's a lot of reasons you can get dark circles. But it works well on dark circles, and that's due to another peptide we have in the product called haloxyl. And it also reduces puffiness around the eyes. It just gets rid of that tired look, and it also just really works as a rejuvenation serum that'll really penetrate the cellular level of the skin and, just bring out the youthful tones under there. It's not really an exfoliant, but, one of the big things that people don't understand is the top level of your skin is usually just the dying, dead skin cells. And when you use a product like this, it helps get those off the surface and just really, bring the up-and-coming kind of skin that our body stops producing, which is collagen, later in life. So it's really a full rejuvenation serum that targets wrinkles first and foremost, but it'll also work on puffiness, dark circles, and as they call them, eye bags.
And just kind of as a fun note, I don't want to go too far down the rabbit hole here, but how much did you know about skincare before you started doing this product?
Negative. I mean, really, I started at ground zero. It's one of those things where I had I guess you could say a life reset. I got out of a business in 2006 that was highly successful and kind of took a couple of years off it and lived overseas and just enjoyed myself. And, after a while, you kind of get sick of that. I don't care what anyone says. Or, the economy also crashed, which kind of gave me a little bit more motivation to get back into something. And I really found a secular trend in anti-aging, and specifically products online. If anyone looks at any keyword research and volume, you can go back in time and just see that 2008, 2009 were just explosive times, basically because a lot of the people that used to get injections like Botox and other patented injections, or even cosmetic surgeries, just couldn't afford them anymore. So they were looking for solutions that were powerful and had a lot of the peptides people look for to cure the same kind of symptoms of aging. And I really just grasped it. I mean, you know me, Mike, well enough that I'm kind of all or nothing. I don't like to build any bridges and not complete them. So it was one of those things where I really just dove in and studied for 6 months. Again, I wasn't really working on any projects or employed in any part at the time. So, look, if you study something 3 hours a day, I don't care what it is, if it's underwater basket weaving or skincare, and you really delve in, you can learn it. In the process, I really got to meet a lot of cool people. I had a mentor who was a very famous late cosmetologist and surgeon here in South Beach, and he was, one of those guys that had an office here and he had an office in Dubai and one in Beverly Hills, and he treated the stars. So who better to learn from than him? He really mentored me in telling me what worked and what didn't work and what was garbage. And I will say the first time I met him, I didn't take his advice. I went to China and got the cheapest products I could get, and 6 months later found out our customers just weren't returning because they were all breaking out. And they had fantastic looking products, but a lot of times you got to sacrifice the look and feel and maybe the packaging and go for a higher end product. So in the process, we learned to triple our price point as far as our product cost, but just what was inside. It's like making food, whether it's a pizza or a soup or chili, whatever it is. It's really what's inside and how you do it in comparison to how it looks, and that couldn't be more true in skincare. So I really just came into knowing all the terminology, knowing exactly what can have impacts on your skin, what can't, because let's face it, I mean, we get people every day that will call us from Arizona and they're 92 years old and they admittedly tan 17 hours a day and they want us to get rid of their wrinkles, and that's just impossible. I don't care what you do or how much kind of a budget you have. You know, if you're worshiping the sun for 70 years, that's just scarred into your face. So you have to face that reality, and I learned a lot of stuff along the way. With a lot of the things I've learned at the American Academy of Anti-Aging and just other associations I've really networked through. I've got a post now at the Huffington Post, and I write about anti-aging there. So again, just to answer your question, I knew zero about this industry and really just dug in and kind of wanted to become an authority on it, which in turn really helps you sell products.
Awesome. All right, Jack. Well, let's let her rip. Where do you want to start?
Well, typically, right now, just listening to Tim talk about some things, he's given me some keyword ideas just to kind of research. Like he was talking about facial rejuvenation serum, dark circles, removing dark circles from stress. That's a big one right there. I like to open people's minds when it comes to the beginning process of keyword research. So this is very important, not only from the creation of your listing, but also from the sponsored ad side of it. And even when you go out to Google and start doing SEO, you need to open your mind to, what are the different ways of saying the product? What are the different ways of, calling the product out? What are the different problems that people have that they're looking for a solution to that problem? And a few of the things that he was just saying now is like different ways of saying, like eye cream, eye gel. He was talking about eye circles, dark circles, eye bags. If you start digging into whatever niche it is that you're in, you're going to find that there are a plethora of different ways to say your product and to extract keywords from people who are either already doing promotion or the keyword tools that we have that are available to us. And a couple of these keyword tools, one is Merchant Words and the other is Keyword Inspector. So just to kind of hit on like the initial way of doing keyword research, like if you didn't want to utilize softwares and things like that in order to build out your sponsored ad campaigns, you can typically go to where your competition is at, and you can analyze each of their listings by looking at the titles, looking at the product bullet points, and kind of extracting some of the words that they have here. Like, notice I typed in eye serum into Amazon, and this is one of the products that came up. And from this product, I can extract a bunch of different keywords and pretty much like save them into either an Excel spreadsheet or a notepad. So best eye gel, best eye cream for dark circles, eye cream for puffiness, eye cream for wrinkles, eye cream for getting rid of wrinkles, eye gel for getting rid of wrinkles, eye gel treatment, natural eye gel treatment, if I can speak. Most effective eye gel treatment, most effective eye cream, beauty eye gel. Basically, you kind of get the idea of going through the title, going through the product bullet points, looking for as many possible ways as you can to explain the product, doing the same thing in places like frequently bought together. Eye gel, he kind of says the same thing here, best eye gel for dark circles, puffiness, but organic skin toner. I know just in listening to what Tim was talking about, it's not really just an eye gel, it's a facial rejuvenation serum. So this could be something that would convert well on his listing. So we're looking for as many opportunities as possible by analyzing the competition, analyzing other titles of the competition, analyzing all these ads that are right here, analyzing important information, the product description, going through to customers who view this also view this because they're obviously interested in this as well. So it could be a nice little spin-off, like you have vitamin C serums, you have products that people are looking, at that could also be a solution to their problem, and that even opens up the competition. Like, looks like Oz Naturals is a competitor. Is that right, Tim?
Yes, sir.
Oh, there you go. There's another keyword that you could target it in your sponsored ads. Um, moving on down to the questions that people ask. It's not tested on animals. I don't know if that's going to have much search volume, but I mean, it's opening your mind to additional ways of looking at the product, like organic aloe treatment. If that's relevant to your product, then you want to look at all these different keywords that they have in here for like the ingredients of the product. If people are looking for eye cream without something, not really, I'm not as familiar with this niche as you are, and there could be areas where people, they want an eye cream or they want a facial serum, but they don't want it to have a specific chemical in it. Maybe they're allergic to that chemical. In some cases, you can find pretty highly trafficked keywords with this process. You do the same thing with the customer reviews. Now, this is the long and drawn out process, obviously, and we all like things that that decrease the amount of time that it takes to get something done. But in my personal opinion, I love doing this kind of research. I love digging this deep into my niche because it gives me more of an understanding of the problems that people are actually trying to solve. So this is one way to do that keyword research and develop your list in order to start testing it within the back end of sponsored ads. And with that list that you're developing, you would basically prioritize that list by coming into merchant words and entering that keyword, and then sorting it with the highest search volume. So in this case, we entered in best eye cream, and we have our estimated monthly search volume. Now, at this point, I could take and enter pretty much all of these keywords into sponsored ads and let them run. But I believe that that is the shotgun approach to trying to get traffic to your listing. And it's not very, you're not going to be very successful if you come in and you just enter in one keyword and then you save this, download it as a CSV, and you save this entire list and then throw it in one campaign and let it run, and then wonder why your budget is not producing the results that that you were hoping for. You got to go in and do these things strategically. Okay, you got to go in and develop your sponsored ad campaign strategically. And the way that I do it from the start is I pick 10 of my best keywords for each campaign. Now, if those 10 keywords are going approaching the million estimated search volume or estimated monthly search volume, then if I get it, say, up to 8 keywords and I'm at 1 million search volume, then I'm going to leave that campaign at 8 keywords. I don't go over 1 million search volume per month in any one campaign. And I find that what that does is it prevents me from diluting my campaign.
And Jack, let me help drill down here. There's something you said that I think is really important that people could miss. I think a lot of what's going to happen is people are going to go into merchant words or the Google Keyword Planner when they're doing their pay-per-click campaigns, and they're going to do exactly what you said. They're going to pull a list like Best Eye Cream, copy and paste it, put it directly into the ads, and just run it. And so if you do the same thing that everybody else is doing, number one, you're going to get kind of saturated results. That's number one. But number two, what you're saying is, like, if we have $100 a day budget and we have all these different keywords with this gigantic overall search volume, then we don't really even know what's going on with that campaign, do we? I mean, what's really going to happen?
Right. Yeah. You're not going to, on a lot of the keywords, you're probably not even going to get any traffic. It's going to take a while for Amazon to really associate those keywords to your listing. So what Amazon typically does is they'll, like, once you set up a campaign, they will kind of use a spider to look at your listing, and then they will pick what they feel are the most relevant keywords for your listing, and then they'll start sending you impressions on those keywords. So it can literally take you months before you start getting any impressions on some of the keywords that may be your best converters. if you build a list of 100, 200 keywords and you put it all in one campaign, you're probably going to be sitting on that campaign for 6 months before you really have an idea of what keywords convert well for your listing.
And like you said, that's simply not strategic. That's going to lead to a lot of wasted ad spend.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely. It's gonna put you in a position where uh, you don't know where you're making your money. I mean, you can look in the you can look in the actual sponsored ad campaigns, and you can look at what's called the advertising cost of sale, and you can see inflated, like say for instance it says 100% advertising cost of sale, and in the case of Tim's product, if we're talking about Elite Serum, that means that it cost him $89.95 to make one sale. If it says 100% ACOS, he spent $89.95 in ad spend in order to make one sale. Okay, that if people look at if they look at these things where they're just looking at that number and they're not paying attention to the amount of impressions they're getting on their keywords, they're not looking into the amount of clicks they're getting, he could have only gotten 2 clicks to that keyword if he was spending $40 or $45 per click on that keyword. Now that's kind of a not really a good example, I guess, but like say you had a $10 product and you were bidding $5 per click, and you only got 2 people that clicked on your ad, and you spent $10 to get people to come to your listing, then you're already at 100% advertising cost of sale. All right, so what you have to look at the whole picture, and the only real way to do that is to limit what you're looking at on the front end. All right, and also not diluting the results with so many keywords and so much opportunity with such a small budget. Okay, so by separating it out into 10 keyword lists, that really helps to kind of dial it down and tell Amazon, hey, I want as much traffic as you can possibly give me on these 10 keywords. All right, I'm a serious marketer at this point, and I'm putting $50 down per day for you to send me as much possible traffic on these 10 keywords because I want to analyze it. Now, if you go in and you say, like for instance on their automatic targeting campaigns, you say, I want to be lazy and I don't want to actually dig in and get the keywords or do any kind of keyword research, and I want Amazon to tell me what keywords are relevant to my listing. They're going to go in and they're going to target you for keywords like latest. They will literally target you for the keyword latest, and you will start showing up for the keyword latest. You will start showing up for the keyword latest version. Is that really relevant to your listing?
Yeah, it's probably pretty bad.
Yeah, that's horrifying to me.
It's not relevant. They would even target you for things like officially released. It's ridiculous. Okay, so by going in and doing, now you do want to run the automatic targeted campaigns because they will throw additional keywords in there that you can extract and do further research on. Okay, but you don't want to let that just run on forever, because what people generally do is they go click that automatic because people love the push button stuff, so they'll be like, oh, sweet, push button, and they push the button, and then they start getting, money starts getting spent, but it's getting spent on keywords that don't even come close to converting. All right,
Yeah.
now some of them will convert, and those are the ones that you want to know, like those are the ones that you extract.
Jack, I did a consult for a guy who sold this really, really expensive lab equipment of some sort. It was like this mobile lab equipment. And I went in and I was looking at his pay-per-click campaign. And Jack, it was crazy what he was doing. Like, he was so proud because he was spending like $100 a day, or I think he was like spending like $200 a day. And he's like, yeah, it's really getting there. And he was like bidding for keywords like medical. I mean, it was crazy. Like, there was no way he was making any sales whatsoever off of his advertising campaign. It was so broad, so untargeted. But again, it was like this kind of automated push button. He just like clicked in on a list and took the path of least resistance. And I mean, he had been wasting $100 a day for $200 a day for like years. And it was incredible to me.
Yeah, it's just something that, not a lot of people are gonna dig that far into it, and they're not gonna like something that I just pulled up from an automatic targeting campaign that was being run on this product. It hasn't been run within the last couple of weeks, so we don't get any data on it. But going into the reports area, advertising reports, and you go into your automatic targeting report, when you actually run this for a week and you request the report, it'll take up to 5 minutes to come through, and then you just come down and you refresh right here, and then you download it. It's going to pop up and it's going to show you, it's going to give you all your data. Now it's going to be in a text file, so you copy it and then you bring it over to an Excel spreadsheet and then just paste it in. And when you paste it in, you'll be able to sort it, and you'll see all the data, the keywords that Amazon is bidding on in that automatic targeting campaign. And if you sort it from highest converting to lowest converting, you'll find the gems up at the top. Okay, you'll find the ones that are actually converting on your listing, and those are ones that you would want to dig deeper into. Now, once you start scrolling down to the areas where all the keywords that aren't converting, that's when you find the latest version and Amazon.com and best selling. It's not even going to have anything close to being relevant to your product further down the line are the ones that aren't converting, but you'll be getting clicks on it and you'll be spending money on it. And if you keep doing that over time, then it's not gonna work out for you. You're gonna wind up stopping the sponsored ads, and some people just throw up their hands and be like, oh, sponsored ads don't work. Well, sponsored ads don't work when you push the automatic targeting campaign and let it run for 3 months. You can get some gems, and then you pull those out and put them into a manual campaign and test them on your own terms, not on Amazon's terms.
Right, because ultimately what you're looking to do, and what we're giving is an extreme, but going one or two levels past that extreme is still not enough. Again, just putting it in merchant words and copying and pasting it out, just going one level deeper. And this is one of the things that you said, that really was a huge aha moment for Liz. You said you're going sometimes 5 levels deeper, and she was like, "Whoa!" I mean, it really woke her up, took the blinders off.
Well, I think what took her blinders off was I was saying I was going about 30 to 35 levels deep.
Right.
So I went extremely deep into the duplication of campaigns, because once I found the keywords that worked really well. Now, obviously, there has to be enough search volume for it. Like if you're dealing with keywords that are a couple of thousand searches, then duplicating campaigns on that end is not really going to help you too much, because you can already get enough exposure just with one campaign. But if we're talking about some of the keywords that are further into the couple 100,000, then duplicating those down to 4 or 5 levels deep will get you more exposure. Additionally,
and what would that be like? Can you show us what going 4 or 5 levels deep with just let's say best eye creams? What would that look like?
it would look, well, first and foremost, I want to run a campaign on sponsored ads to verify that Best Eye Creams converts well on my listing. Okay, so I take the cost of my product, and I obviously determine my profit margin after advertising and all that. And I say, or after, I'm sorry, after any promotion that I'm doing outside of sponsored ads. Any promotion, any costs that I'm incurring from a shipping standpoint or other promotional standpoint outside of Amazon, I take that into account with my product, and I say, okay, well, this is my profit margin on Amazon. I then determine whether or not I want to keep Best Eye Creams running based on the advertising cost of sales. So say I'm at a 50% profit margin, and it's costing me 20% in order 20% of my price point to convert on Best Eye Creams. I would continue running that because that's 30% in my pocket every time I make a sale on that keyword. Okay, I would even go as high as saying 50%. If I break even on this keyword, I'll keep it running. Now that's a business decision that each individual has to make on their own. But if I'm converting on this keyword and I continually get conversions on that keyword, I'm eventually going to rank higher in Amazon for it. All right. So if I have a sponsored ad running to Best Eye Creams and I'm converting at 50%, so I don't make any money on that sale that I'm making through sponsored ads, I personally, from my business standpoint, will continue running this keyword because it helps me rank organically. Once I get the ranking for that keyword, then I'll turn it off. Okay, and if I drop for that keyword at any point, then I'll turn it back on, and I'll start making more keywords, and I'll rise back up in the Amazon rankings. But that's a determination that people have to make on their own. But basically, what looks good to me is a low advertising cost of sale, and then I take all of the keywords, not just best eye cream. I take, say, these keywords right here, from best eye creams down to best under eye cream. All of these keywords are converting really, really well. They're my best converting keywords, and they're converting, let's say, at 5% advertising cost of sale. What I'll do is I'll take these keywords, and then I will create a new campaign with these same keywords in it. Okay, so now I have two campaigns that have the same keywords running, but I vary things up a little bit with additional keywords on top of it. So I don't make the campaign look the same. Used to, you could actually take these, just put them in another campaign, you would start getting extra traffic. Amazon's kind of wised up to it now, so you have to make your campaigns look somewhat different. Now, you can have the same keywords in there, but say, for instance, here, I would take these keywords, and then I would add something in like best facial cream, or best facial creams, best facial wrinkle cream, and in addition to these keywords, I put those additional keywords in that campaign. Is that making sense?
It does. And Tim, what's our number that we're targeting for this campaign? Like what's our profit per sale on Amazon?
Well, you have to consider the fact that they're going to take 15%. So that's it. Our product cost, once it's boxed and everything, is ballpark going to be around 8.
Okay.
We don't really lose anything on shipping. So you can take those numbers. I don't know what 15% is, just rough hand, at least maybe like 13.50 or something like that off that. So I mean, the good thing with this, we've got a very healthy profit margin, so we can take a lot of traffic, which is always good.
So we're looking at probably like $22, $23 cost per sale, which is about 1/4. So we're operating at about a 75% profit margin on this, just as a rule of thumb as we go along, Jack.
Okay. So that gives us a lot of room to, I don't want to say play, but that does give us a lot of room to test. All right, to test certain keywords that, like we can let it run for a little bit longer than, somebody who has a profit margin of, say, $5, So it's definitely a lot better from that standpoint of being able to test keywords to their fullest until you make a determination on them. And when I say to the fullest, when I look at a keyword and sponsored ads, so when we start running these sponsored ads, and we're going to go through that here in a second, of digging a little bit deeper within Keyword Inspector and creating a couple of campaigns. Actually, let's go ahead and do that. Let's create the automatic campaign now, and then I'll show you a little bit more of what I'm talking about when it comes to some of these numbers. So we go into advertising and then campaigns, and then we want to say create a campaign, and we're going to call this Elite Serum Auto, if I can spell. Sorry, I'm reaching over my notes. All right, and for this campaign, because we're going to launch 4 campaigns today, we're going to put a $50 budget per day on each one of these campaigns. Now, if somebody can't afford this $50 day budget, don't be like, oh, well, I can't afford a $50 day budget. That's fine. Just dilute it down, meaning if you only have $25 a day to spend, don't go over 500,000 searches per month on the test that you're doing. So make the ratio, drop the ratio down. I typically don't go over 1 million searches per month per $50 a day that I'm going to be bidding, or I'm going to be budgeting for that particular campaign. Did I say that in a way that it made sense, Mike?
You did. I'm trying to figure out the quick math.
Mike, did you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I was just trying to figure out the quick math on that. So 50, if we divide 1 million by 50, it's a lot of ebooks. Then about $20,000 per dollar that you're spending. So if your ad campaign is $20, then don't go over 400,000, for example.
Right. Yeah, and if it's say 250,000, I'll go over 1250. You know, like keep dropping it down per that ratio. And that's not an exact number. It's just a ballpark. Okay, so you could put it at 13 or 15 for 250,000. That's fine. It's just you don't want to dilute it so much to where you're spending $5 a day and you're putting 100 million searches per month in that one campaign. You're diluting it too much. All right, and Amazon really is going to look at it and be like, yeah, this isn't really all that serious of a campaign. So if you dilute it down, you can do your testing slow. That's fine. All right, so don't get freaked out by the $50 a day budget. All right, so on our start date, obviously we want to start today and no end date because we're going to stop it automatically. And down here, when I'm selecting my targeting type for this 7-day test, we're not going to run it past 7 days. We're going to select automatic targeting because we want Amazon to feed us some keywords that are converting well in our listing. Now, we don't want them to continuously add in those additional keywords that are completely irrelevant to our listing, but this gives us a little bit of an idea of what Amazon thinks about our listing. Okay, it gives us an idea of what Amazon is saying our listing is relevant to. And if it comes back and all the keywords are completely in left field, then we know there's something wrong with the optimization of our listing and we need to tune that up. Does that make sense?
It does.
All right, so we're continuing on to our next step and our campaign. We got to select. All right, now here it comes to the bid. In most categories, like if you're outside of like skincare and healthcare, you can generally start this around $1 and you're going to be fine and you'll start getting plenty of traffic. But because of the fact that we're in the skincare niche, we're going to go ahead and double that out of the gate just to make sure that we're getting some good traffic initially. And we'll do only $2 with the automatic campaign. But for the manual campaigns where we're really honing in and targeting keywords that are highly relevant, we may increase that up to around the $3 mark, because this is more than likely going to be a very competitive niche, and we want to go ahead and disqualify keywords as quickly as possible. And in order to get the actual traffic to the keywords, you have to bid appropriately. So we can do $2 on this, but typically if it was outside of the healthcare and it was outside of the skincare niches, more saturated niches, I would probably start it at about $1, and then I would adjust according to each keyword after the fact. All right, so I start looking at keywords that I'm not getting any kind of traction on. If I'm not getting any impressions or I'm not getting any clicks, then I might increase the bid incrementally. I generally do it by about 7 cents, but I'll also show you another report that you can use to get more in the ballpark of what Amazon feels you need to spend. All right. So I go in here and I select the product that I want to actually target. Now this is actually an important side of things, and not necessarily for the automatic targeted campaign, but for manual campaigns. I don't typically go in and select a lot of different products to go in one campaign, because again, you're diluting your efforts a little bit too much on that end. If you start selecting 15 products within one sponsored ad campaign, then you're not really going to have as much success if you separate everything out and have each single campaign going to one product. And this is another thing that I would actually advise you to do there, Tim, is expanding out from just one variation of your product. Because right now you only have a 1-pack. And with that 1-pack, you are limited to the duplication of campaigns with simply changing up your actual keywords inside of your sponsored ads. But if you had different variations, like a 2-pack of this product for, say, a little bit of a cheaper price than the 1-pack, you would wind up getting, one, more exposure within Amazon itself. And people typically like variation when they come somewhere. If they feel they get a better price on a 2-pack, you might find that people buy 2 at a time in that 2-pack more so than they buy 1. So it's obviously something that you would want to direct your customers to buying more of a whatever product you want them to buy over the others. So say you have a limited inventory of the 2-pack, you only have 500 left, but you have 10,000 of the one packs, then you might decrease your price here a little bit and increase your price on your other variation. So you encourage more people to buy maybe 2 of these as opposed to 1 of the 2 packs. Does that make sense?
It makes perfect sense, and that's something that I've needed guidance on for a while. We used to do multiple packs for the exact same reasoning that you explained. Give them a little bit of discount and sell 2 instead of 1. We've even gone up to 4 packs and really brought the price down. Maybe this is something that's changed since we did then, but our biggest, I guess, problem with that was the fact that when we did it, at least, and I'm not saying we did it right because clearly I'm not, the Amazon guru, is we had multiple listings for the product, and it dialed down our number of reviews and our steam kind of on Amazon because they were going to, different product listings. Has that changed, or is there a way I can make multiple products and still get the people to review, like this listing we're looking at right now, Jack?
Oh yeah, that's what I'm talking about specifically, is not creating completely separate listings, but creating a variation of this product. And it would all of the, I'm trying to find one in this.
Yeah, this would be a parent-child relationship, and they're very important.
Exactly. I'm trying to find that for you, Tim, so you can see what we're talking about. I'm not seeing anybody do it in this niche, which is
By the way,
this right here. Oh my God, Tim, this gives you a significant advantage over these people because they're not doing it. I've noticed just by adding a variation, like I was a little higher up in the rankings for some of the more competitive keywords, but just by adding a variation, I was able to increase my position by a few spots just by doing that. Not anything else, but just by adding a variation. Amazon loves variations, and you actually get benefits from giving your customers more options.
Well,
so you would be giving them more.
No, sorry to interrupt you. That's very encouraging. So, I mean, in the past, we've always had success, and our internal customers that, might jump off of our subscription model. You'd be surprised how many of them have a problem with it at, $89. But the minute there's an email promotion where, the price is reduced, you can grab a couple, they come clawing back. And we did really well with 2 and 4 packs on Amazon just with separate listings. And again, that's just not understanding, like you said, the parent-child relationship. So I'm pretty excited just hearing this possibility.
Right. Yeah. And the way you typically do this is, and I'll get into the additional side of how it helps you in your sponsored ad promotion once we tune that in.
Sure.
But all you do is create those listings again, and it'll be exactly the same as this. And then you create the parent-child relationship through what's called a flat file, and you'll basically have a parent listing of Elite Serum RX, and then your 1 pack would be a variation, which is known as a child, to that parent. It's a very simple thing to do. It's a very simple process that connects all of your products together. And all the reviews that you would get on the 2-pack and the 4-pack and the 6-pack or whatever would all come into here. And the same thing with any promotion that you do, all of the reviews that you get for your 1-pack go right here. All right, and it applies to all 3, 4, 5, 6 of your variations.
Great.
Does that make sense?
Absolutely.
And Tim, as
so
you and I discussed,
you're not losing your.
Yep, and Tim, as you and I discussed with Liz, one of the things that we're going to be able to do is possibly play around with suggesting that people actually do go for example, a 6-pack by saying stuff in the listing like, you're going to see immediate results, and after 30 days, it'll be really noticeable. And we found that after 6 months, you'll have noticeable and lasting change, or like something like, we'd have to play around with it. Something
Sure.
that kind of nudges people towards that 6 purchase.
Makes sense.
And the other benefit that you're going to have from this is, like, see, for instance, we're creating this campaign, and I know maybe I'm going off on too much of a tangent right now, but when you have multiple offers to the same product, as you dial in your sponsored ad campaigns, you can now launch additional duplicate campaigns for those new variations, and you have all that traffic coming into all of your different listings here. And even though they may not buy that 2-pack, they may buy the 1-pack. And that's where you guide them. You guide them based on your inventory management. Obviously, if you have too many of your one packs and you need to get rid of more, then you would obviously lower the price on that. But you can bring more traffic into the listing altogether by having duplicated, already well-performing campaigns to all of your different variations.
Sure.
So it increases your exposure dramatically. All right, so after I've selected my one product for this campaign, then I can go ahead, save, and finish, and my new campaign has been created. It may take up to an hour for it to show, and in some cases it can take a few days before you actually start getting any kind of impressions on some of these automatic campaigns. It shouldn't take that long for this campaign because there's plenty of keywords out there for it, but if you're in more of a, I guess kind of a, I don't want to say unique niche, but if you're in a lower traffic type niche, it might take a little bit longer before you start seeing traffic. All right, so moving over to the keyword inspector side of the house, and again, you can do this a couple of different ways. You can go into your competition and get a whole large list of keywords that you want to target and go back and forth between merchant words and Amazon to determine saturation of these keywords. I'm going to try to find this one's probably pretty good keyword. Best eye cream by Michelle. We're going to go and this is off the fly, so I hope we don't crash and burn here. Best eye cream by Michelle. If I look at this keyword, it gets 8,500 searches per month according to merchant words, and I don't know why, because I'm not seeing any kind of optimization for this particular keyword, best eye cream by Michelle.
Well, there's the second is Michelle Cosmetics. The second listing is for Michelle Cosmetics.
Okay.
So there it is.
All right, so the places that I'm looking for optimization is the title and either the description or features, and it'll show features here. That means it's in the bullet points there. Features. I'm looking for one that says description, and the description there, it says that there's something relevant in the description to the search term that I entered. But I'm going back. The reason why I'm looking at this keyword from a saturation standpoint is I'm trying to gauge whether this would be a good keyword to target initially in my campaigns. Because if I'm maybe limited on budget, or I'm trying to find the most targeted keywords for my listing, this may not be a good one just because it has Michelle and somebody's looking for a specific product. I was just looking at it from an optimization standpoint to give an idea of what I'm looking at from a saturation standpoint. With the eye serum, like the Elite Eye Serum, I'm going to come in on specific keywords to determine what the saturation is and how many people are optimizing specifically for that keyword. That gives me an idea of whether people are optimizing specifically within their sponsored ads. If they're not doing so here with their listing, within their product features and their description, then that gives you a little bit more area to focus, or it gives you more guidance to focus on those keywords over others. Am I saying that in a way that makes sense, Mike?
Yes, you are. Yep, makes total sense.
Okay. I want to make sure that I'm not talking over anyone, and I'm not going too in depth with certain things and maybe confusing people. But essentially, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to create a list of relatively unsaturated keywords on the front end, so I can tune in on some of the lower hanging fruit keywords as soon as possible. Okay, so I prioritize these keywords based on the saturation that I'm seeing in Amazon for that particular keyword, as well as their search volume as it shows in merchant words. Okay, so again, this is kind of a long drawn out process, but it's definitely been very beneficial for starting campaigns that that pretty much go with a relatively low advertising cost to sell from the very beginning. Now, we all know that best eye creams is likely going to be a very saturated and a very pricey keyword. Would we all agree on that?
Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay. So this one right here is very saturated in Amazon, and we already kind of looked at that a little bit before. It's very saturated in Amazon from top to bottom. All right, you have a lot of the best eye creams for puffy eyes. This is a very saturated area to go into. So it's likely, because it's so obvious, that everybody's targeting it in their sponsored ads. But when it comes to some of the lower hanging fruit, they may still be getting 50 to 20 to 50,000 searches per month. Best anti-aging eye cream. Once you get into the longer tail, not as many people are targeting these types of keywords. Okay, so these are ideal for starting with testing your sponsored ads. All right, because you have more of the ability to get that lower advertising cost of sale on these than you would on some of the more generic keywords. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yep.
Okay. Now, the way that we can kind of shorten the time on this and get into the keyword inspector and go for some keywords initially that James Harbaugh and his algorithm are basically saying these are really good areas to go for. They're high converting, highly searched keywords that you can target not only from an organic standpoint but from a sponsored ad standpoint. What we have to do in this case, we have to get the absolute best keyword for elite serum. And what would you say that would be, Tim?
The best keyword for elite serum? Is that what you just said?
Maybe like the most general best keyword that describes it as a whole.
Most people will search for eye cream.
Okay.
Second to that would be eye serum.
Okay. All right. So what we do there is we're going into Amazon and we search up the most general kind of keyword that goes along with your product. All right. Now I'm going to ask you a couple of questions here. Does this Youth Express eye gel, is that relevant to your product in some way, shape, or form, Tim?
Yes, for sure. It attacks the same symptoms just by reading their title there.
Okay. New Nutrients Cucumber Eye Cream.
It's a little bit more niche because they're just marketing it as a cucumber eye cream, but again, it's aiming for the same symptoms. So I would say it's a direct competitor.
Okay. How about these? I think Oz Naturals. We were looking at that before, and I think that's a competitor as well.
Yeah, they're pretty big.
Okay. We're gonna go with the top. We're gonna go with the top 5. How about this Age Defense Eye Cream by Body Mary?
Yes.
It's an interest. Crow's feet. There you go. Hey, there's a keyword. Crow's feet.
Yeah, that's a big keyword. As long as they're not talking about the actual bird's feet.
Well, whenever my wife talks about it, she's not talking about it from the bird's feet standpoint. She's gonna have to get some of your cream here pretty soon. There, Tim. Don't tell her I said so.
No worries.
All right, and how about this one, Sierra A eye cream? How does that look?
Yeah, I'm kind of squinting and generating crow's feet, organically here, but reading their description on the box they have there, yeah, I'd say so.
Reduces the look of dark circles and puffiness, helps repair and restore protective skin barrier with ceramides and however you say that.
Hyaluronic acid.
Hyaluronic acid, all right. I just didn't want to sound stupid.
You nailed it.
All right. Eye repair and 0.5 ounce. Okay, so what we're doing here is we're looking at your top competition, and what we're going to do is we're going to run 5 of the top competition in the keyword inspector so that we can get the most relevant keywords to these listings, and we want to take a look at them in merchant words to prioritize them based off search volume. Okay, and we're going to go back and forth between merchant words and the keyword inspector, because the keyword inspector is going to analyze them and rate them based on what they feel is the highest or the most profitable or the most potential as kind of a list, saying the first one is your best potential keyword for ranking. But we want to go back and forth between that and merchant words so that we know what the search volume is on that keyword. Because remember, we don't want to stuff any of our sponsored ads with too much search volume for the budget that we're going to be placing. All right, so typically when I go in here, I want to make sure that I'm not that I'm on the actual listing itself and I'm not on the parent. I want to make sure that I have the actual ASIN for the product, the actual child and not the parent. So in this case, it doesn't have any children. So we have the ASIN that you can get from down here in the product details, or you can simply get it from the URL up here. So I copy, I'm go into Keyword Inspector, and I want to do a new reverse ASIN search. I don't think it's kicking me. Hmm.
And the idea behind Simple Keyword Inspector is that it,
Kicked me out.
sorry, the idea behind Simple Keyword Inspector, what it's going to do is it's going to give us the top converting keyword for a given ASIN, and we've got a really great deal worked out with James, where OMGers are getting a 50% discount. So make sure to check your members area in the Amazon section for that coupon.
I didn't get that coupon, Mike.
Did you really not?
All right, so no, I really didn't. No, I contacted him though, not about the coupon, but I'm trying to work with him to maybe include some more of the strategies that I use from digging a little bit deeper.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll definitely get you in touch with James.
Oh yeah, no, I already emailed him. But you can push him along. He responded.
I'll do it.
All right, so the way to make sure that you're getting the right ASIN is to look at the URL up here, and then also look at the product details of what you're where you're on, or the product details of the listing that you're on, to make sure you're in the right spot. Because sometimes you'll be at if you're digging this out from your own listing, you might be on the parent as opposed to the actual child variation. So you want to make sure you're actually getting the child and not the parent ASIN. So I can verify back and forth between what I'm seeing on the page as this is the actual child and this ASIN up here matches. So all right. And if there's no variations, then I'm certain that this is the actual ASIN. All right, so now that I have the top 5 of these listings in this reverse ASIN search, I can come down here and select whether I want to do a simple first page keyword rank search, or if I want to do an extensive keyword rank search. For these purposes, I want to do an extensive page or extensive keyword rank search because I want to know what all the best juicy keywords are, and this extensive keyword rank search actually gives me a rating for each keyword. And it's saying that these are the #1 listing is the best keyword to go after with the most potential for your listing, and that's where the majority of the sales are being made. So it'd be good buyer keywords to go after. So now that I enter this in, we get to go through the weighting process of when they're actually done. So, which can take anywhere from 5 to 10 minutes. But in the meantime, is anything that I've covered so far? Is there any questions that you have, Mike, on like maybe my thought process behind sponsored ads and thought process behind how I'm doing keyword research, or is it pretty clear?
Yeah, I think that this is great, and I guess one of the things I want to do is just bring people back to the idea of saturation and understanding saturation. because with paid advertising, it begins very low on saturation. Like when, for example, in all the way back in like 2003, 2004, paid advertising was very, very, very cheap on like Google and especially on the Yahoo network. Yahoo is still pretty big, and you could just get really cheap clicks. But then as it gets more and more competitive, as people know about it more and more, then it gets more difficult. But now we're at a state of sophistication with the Amazon search, Amazon paid ads, where people know about it, but again, they're not going very deep. And so a lot of the advantage that we're gaining here, Jack, is really by niching things down and just being more precise, and also by gaining more information from our campaigns and leveraging them in SEO and for our like in our Amazon SEO and in our Google SEO for our Amazon listing.
Oh, absolutely. And it's making you way more tightly focused on, what works well with your listing. Okay, like you can do a lot of things. Like I know you guys are working on, your images. I know you're working on getting the box in there and making this a little bit better as far as, user engagement. I mean, because right now, no offense, but it's kind of boring. Like you have good colors here and everything, but as you work through like videos that you make, you need to make them engaging, all right? And content that you make, you need to make it engaging. And this is the first thing that people see when they come to your product, all right? If you're not making it engaging here, then they move away from there and they go either here or they scroll down. If they scroll down, that's bad, all right? You don't want them to scroll down for anything other than reviews, all right? But if they come here and you engage them immediately with the imagery that you have right here, then that gets them interested. And it makes them want to read more. It makes them want to come over here and check out more about what your product does. Okay. Other things too, as far as like testing when it comes to price point. And these are a lot of things, a lot of consultations that I'm having lately. I'm talking to a lot of people about, testing different price points for different periods of time and tuning up your listing. It's the same concept with price points and imagery as it is with sponsored ads. You want to tune up your listing to where you know exactly what works best. If you don't know what works best on your listing, then you're kind of flying blind. All right, so every single thing that you do from your imagery to your title to your price to your bullet points to your sponsored ads, all the keywords that you're running in your sponsored ads, everything that you're doing within Amazon is giving you those areas of focus. And then you can take that and branch it out to all the other things that OMG offers, which is ranking websites in Google, ranking YouTube videos in Google, running paid advertising to YouTube videos in Google, and getting all that additional traffic to a listing that you already know converts very highly for those keywords.
Killer. That's great.
So I like calling it tune-up for whatever reason, because I mean tune-up can mean so many different things. We're talking about a car, we're talking about a tough guys tuning somebody up.
Time to get a product in the first place. That's your foundation. From there, you really want to optimize it. That's your foundation. That's your starting off point. Obviously, me and Liz chose to work with Tim because he had a really great starting point here, and then we can really, really tune things up from there. And this is one of the great things about this is, much like when you're partnering with a product, Jack, partnering with somebody who already has a product either on Amazon or off Amazon. So a lot of what you're doing is tuning things up from there.
Right. Yeah, so I'll tune things up. Like typically, what I'm seeing from people, or seeing from pretty much all of the clients that I'm going after, is they have a lot of this same stuff going on. Like they have good reviews, they have a decent listing, they have a decent title. Their imagery could use a little bit of help to get more engagement. They haven't tested their price points. They don't know what they're doing from the back end on sponsored ads. They don't know at all what keywords they're going after. They just kind of threw it up there, and they didn't do the kind of in-depth research that I typically do. So going in there and learning about their market from what the market's already telling me, you can learn so much from your competition on Amazon, because like not just from what I've showed you from a title standpoint, just a keyword basis, but you can look at what they're doing wrong and figure out a way to spin that on your listing. So you can position your product as a better product to the competition by finding out what other consumers are complaining about, and then bringing that into your listing. And if it's something that you might also run into that same problem, like kind of refocus it and turn it into a positive for whatever, or like in whatever way you possibly can. Like I know in a lot of cases, what I've done with one of my products, there was a lot of complaints um, about the freshness of the product and about like the texture of the product. Yourself differently than your competition and say, well, I don't have that problem, and you address it specifically on your listing, then that definitely puts you in a completely different reading those reviews. And you better believe that if you try to position yourself as different from them in a better way, from like somebody saying negative something about their product, and you're saying, well, mine doesn't have this problem, then they're like, okay, well, problem solved, and they buy yours. I know it sounds simple, because it is. It's not a very complex thing to do.
And not everyone is reading reviews, but some people are. And those people who are reading reviews are going to convert much better off of those people. And that adds to the edge that you need to really be successful.
And Mike, I'm having a hard time hearing you, man.
Okay. Are you hearing me now?
Yes.
Okay. What I was going to say is not everyone is reading reviews, but the people who are reading reviews, you're going to convert better off of them. That's going to give you a nice advantage.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And it could be a small difference. It could be a small difference in how well you're converting. Um, it could be that it's only 1 or 2%, but once you start differentiating your product in a lot of different ways, that 1 or 2% can grow to 3 to 5% to 6 to 8%. Doing enough in-depth research to your competition and what people are saying about the competition, what they're writing about the competition. I mean, if you're in the process of designing a product, that could even help you when you're talking to manufacturers and be like, well, how is yours different? Does it have this problem? So you're able to specifically differentiate your product at that point. Okay, so now I'm looking at some of the keywords that came back from one of our ASNs, and it doesn't look like I got get all of those. I just want the last one. I got confused Chrome there for a second. Now I could be getting a lot of the same keywords, but I do want to kind of look at the top products and see if I'm getting any variation here. And I may actually, Mike, I might be using this. I might be using this wrong to an extent because I haven't really dug as deep into this as I would have liked. But
yeah, I think this will get off in a good direction.
Yeah, I think it's kind of repeating some of the keywords that we had from before. Crow's feet. Oh no, it's not. It didn't have crow's feet in that other one. I'm trying to compare them right now. I mean, obviously it's showing me that the best keyword to go after is eye cream. Hey, Tim, does your product have retinol in it? Eye creams with retinol?
Sorry, Tim. I think you're muted. You're probably unmuted now.
Yeah, no, we do not have retinol in this product.
Okay, so that obviously wouldn't be relevant to your listing, but eye dark circles, interesting. Weird. Anyway, with the way this works typically is when you put one variation like eye dark circles versus dark eye circles or circles under eyes, you're still gonna, or I'm sorry, eye circles, you're still going to rank for this entire. When I say rank, you're still gonna get some traffic from it. So let's see. Let's go ahead and make the Asian eye cream. Let's look at those. Asian eye cream. All right, so I don't want to go for eye specifically because it's a little bit too general. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. All right, would you say that all of these keywords are relevant to your listing, Tim?
Yeah, these are all relevant. I mean, even someone who searches for retinol is pretty targeted. Retinol is a very key ingredient. Again, we don't have it, but we've got about everything else there. So those are all good words.
Okay.
Or are you talking about the right side, Jack?
Yes, I was talking about the right side.
Yeah, my apologies. Yeah, everyone you put there is great.
Okay. Hey, come on. All right, so what I'm doing now is I want to prioritize these, and I want to make sure that I'm not going over my the search volume that I want to have for individual campaigns. And looking at this first keyword right here, it looks like we're going to be approaching 500,000 just with one keyword. But that's okay. That's 340,500 on that one. Sitting right underneath it. Okay, so what I could do with these two, since it's kind of approaching my limit for my $50 budget, I could take these two keywords and go ahead and throw them into their own campaign, because they're approaching that million. So what I want to do is create a campaign, and this will be Elite Serum. So one, I'm going to go with an average daily budget here of $50. We're going to do it manually, our manual target campaign. Continue to the next step. And we'll go ahead and leave it as ad group 1. Find your product, select, and remember we're only selecting that one product. And the default bid that we're going to start on these keywords is going to be at $3 since they're highly targeted, and we're going to provide our own keywords. Those are the eye cream and anti-aging eye cream. All right, and then we add these keywords. We put both of these down as keyword bids, and then we save and finish, and we are up and running on that campaign. All right, so let's head on back to our next keywords that we want to evaluate. 135 on this keyword, and I know you got to go here pretty soon, Tim, so I'm trying to get past some of these. Let's see, the aging eye cream. You know what, this one says that it doesn't get a whole lot of search volume, so I'm actually still going to put that in just to make sure that's the case. So we'll still put that in as 100, and we'll evaluate that when we come back to it next week. We'll take a look and we'll see if it actually pushed forward and we got more than a couple hundred searches. So eye bag cream, 500 searches. And eye creams for puffiness. You guys going to sleep on me yet?
No, this is fascinating. I'm really enjoying this.
You sure you're not falling asleep? Because this is the boring part. It's okay, Mike. It's okay if you're falling asleep on me.
I'm definitely sure I'm not falling asleep.
All right, crow's feet cream.
Yeah.
All right. The reason why I'm kind of getting an idea of these is I just want to make sure that I'm not diluting the campaigns too much. So just want to make sure that that was clear. I'm going for bags under eyes. These keywords, 15,600.
Nobody knows this stuff. Nobody. Never been trained like this.
I didn't even know that it existed.
Yeah. But even people who buy.
We'll get that one. Let's see. You know what? I like the keyword best, so I'm going to go for best eye cream as well. And how many searches does that have? 3,000. Yeah, we already had that keyword in there. All right. Best eye wrinkle cream, eye creams for wrinkles was 35,500. All right, so my next keyword list, say, I mean, I know that's not adding all these together. If we look down here, we're at a sum of just over 260,000 searches. So we'll go ahead and take these keywords. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's find a couple more. From eye cream for dark circles and wrinkles. I wonder what that looks like in merchant words. Nothing. Okay. Eye treatment, wrinkle. Go ahead and search that again. Could try that out. Eye wrinkle treatment. Was it 5,000, I think? Okay. Let's see. Let's find another. I'm just kind of randomly looking at some of these keywords now. Eye cream, moisturizing, get a little bit of variation. I don't know if yeah, it's a little too low. We might test that a little bit later on a larger campaign. I want to get some keywords that have some, got the eye creams for puffiness. Puffy eyes reducer, interesting. I like these types of keywords because they're problem keywords, and that might be a nice one to go for. It's only got 7,500 searches, but well, if Excel will work with me here. Come on, man. Oh, that's why. All right, so now we're sitting on was 10 keywords, and we're looking at about 278,000. So that's definitely under our million. But remember, we don't want to go over 10 keywords. We don't want to reduce it too much. We want to give Amazon a reason to come to our listing and not dilute it too much and say, oh, well, these keywords aren't relevant to your listing. So we want to keep it tightly focused. So Elite Serum, go with 2. We're going to do the same thing here. Average daily budget of $50, starting today, manual targeting, continue to next step. And this will be ad group 1 within this particular campaign. And do realize that I'm making a completely separate campaign. I'm not making different ad groups. And the reason why I'm doing that is because I want Amazon to treat this as a completely separate campaign, and it's not in and of itself. I don't want any dilution across one campaign. I want them to all be separated. Now, you can still get good results from doing it where you have separate ad groups. But I found that when I separate all of these things, I get better results, I get more impressions, and I'll get them faster if I have them in separate campaigns. And that's just my experience. It may just be because of the niches that I'm in, but you know, I base it off of what works, and that's worked the best for me. So there we go. We have so far 3 campaigns that are running. Mike, do we have time for one more? I know you had another meeting that you needed to go to. Are we good for doing an additional one, or?
Yeah, let's do one more.
Okay. All right. So we're gonna get down into some of our more long tail keywords. And these may be the ones that actually convert better than the ones that we just used, because these are the higher searched ones. Sorry, I was getting a call. These are the higher search volume, and typically the ones on the top 3, they're going to have the most competition. So these keywords down here are the ones that may have a bit less competition because of their long tail variation. So we're going to go for an entire campaign that has some of the longer tail variation keywords that at least have some search volume without duplicating. So let's see. Here we go. That was an actual brand. Let's go for a branded keyword. The Az0N, wow, okay. Oz Natural doesn't get a whole lot of searches. Actually, let's see if they do get any searches. Yeah, I don't know. Natural cleanse is not really what we're looking for. It's not relevant to the listing, but it's in some cases it's good to kind of look at your competition and see if they have any search volumes. And I'd run a campaign just to see if it would convert on my listing. Let's go with under eyes treatment. Under eye treatment. Circles treatment. Okay, we'll go for under eye treatment. It's about 9,500 searches a month. Okay. Puffiness eye cream. Eye cream for puffiness. Did I already have that keyword in there? Yeah, eye creams for puffiness. I did have that in. And I had puffy eye cream, but under eye cream for puffiness. Now, typically, like for me, I prefer not to go under like 1,000 searches per month. Like in this case, I did just because I don't believe that to be true. Anti-aging eye cream, perhaps all put together, that might have been the issue. I actually want to check that out real quick. Anti-aging eye cream. Interesting. So we actually already had eye cream up there, but anti-aging eye cream gets 440,000. Might want to change that actually. I'm actually going to look that up real quick. Might change that keyword up if I can. Sorry. Like, where are the keywords? They ran away from me. Go ahead and let that run. And we're gonna break a rule here. We're actually gonna add another keyword in here, and we're gonna extend it out to 11 keywords. We're gonna go with anti-aging eye cream and add that keyword in at $3. So now we have together and separate. And that looks like a keyword that probably gets a decent level of search volume. So yeah. Let's look at this one. We already got that one. We've already got eye bags treatment, or did I? Interesting. We got eye bags treatment down here. Where to see that? Eye wrinkle treatment. Just look it up. All right, well, my computer's freezing on me every couple seconds now for some reason. Make sure I didn't have that eye bags cream. I'm going to go with eye bags treatment. And that's 6,500 searches, so getting a little bit more long tail on these. Shippers under eyes treatment. I might have already tested this one, but all right, so that one gets quite a lot of search volume, but it's a longer tail variation keyword, so I definitely want to go for it. And I might even go for the one that's underneath it at 9,000 as well. Okay. Under eye dark circle treatment, that was at 9,000. Let's see. I think I already tested that one. Bags under eyes treatment, under eye cream for wrinkles. That, ooh, we didn't do anti-aging eye treatment, I don't think. So we're seeing a lot of variation here with like the back and forth between cream and treatment. So anti-aging eye cream, anti-aging eye treatment. So those are some different variations of it. Eye cream. That didn't do anything for us, but that's okay. Let's go with some of the other top ones over here and see if we get some other variation as well. There's another eye cream. eye cream, Syrah. That's actually moisturizing. Hey, Mike, do you think moisturizing eye cream is relevant to this listing?
Um, yeah, I think we can give it a try.
If I can spell it, Mike. Not so much.
Maybe
Yeah,
eye moisturizer, but then now we're really probably getting pretty far afield.
yeah, yeah. Now we're kind of getting into something that would be like a Visine or something.
Yeah.
That's not really where we want to go. Let's see.
What about the search term just elite serum? I'm curious about that.
Yeah, but you're already ranking #1 for that. That has 36,500 searches per month.
Okay, so it's better not to put that in the pay-per-click searches.
Yeah, yeah, it doesn't really make sense when you're already ranking for it.
Got it.
So actually, the Elite Eye Serum gets 36,500. Now the reason why I wouldn't do that, you're probably going to convert well on it, but if somebody comes in through your listing, and they're already kind of looking for your product, they get to your product.
Yeah.
If they go somewhere else and they find your product, they find your product again and they click on it from the sponsored ad here, you're likely already up here in their other what they already saw, okay, if they went to another product, because you just came back from there. And if you follow Amazon in their search, like customers who bought this also bought that. If I go, oops, wow, got a lot of other people here that are selling it as well. What's going on here?
Yeah, it's a kind of a long story, but well, that's Skin Pro. That's a different product line. But there's also kind of competitors that we've. So that's part of the challenge of this whole thing is we did a little bit of wholesaling a few years back, and now we're having to kind of overcome that. It's one of the fun parts of this over the shoulder series.
I'm sorry, I guess I didn't pick up on that. But yeah, no, so when they go, I guess actually maybe now that you mentioned that, yeah, let's go ahead and target that. I guess I was thinking from a standpoint, we can actually target both of those, Elite Serum and Elite Eye Serum, because you're very likely going to convert well on both of these. I was just thinking from a standpoint of you already have that ranking, but you don't want, in the case where if you have other people that are listing your product under these other listings all in of themselves, you want to show up in those areas as well, and not as a different, or not as a wholesale listing. You want to show up as Tim's company. So we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We need 3 more. Let's see. I get eye creams for puffiness eye cream.
Have we done argireline as a keyword at all?
No. No, we haven't. Let's see. Let's go check over here. I'll make sure I spell that right. I'm not a spellitician, man.
I'm with you.
I didn't make a lot of money off of spelling. Oh, there we go. Look at that. See, we got serum, arginine. I think we're gonna pick the top 3 here, and we're gonna put those in, because that should well, yeah. We're gonna test them all. We're gonna test the top 3 here, just to see where that covers. I know this is kind of general. Now, is this only a product that's used for?
Yeah, that's generally what it's used for. I think that's going to get us to the right place.
Okay. Yeah, when you start getting like the cream, yeah, obviously that's somebody who's looking for your product. You want to try to stay as tightly relevant, especially starting out, like so you don't look in your campaign and you find like zero conversions on spending a couple $100. You want to try to get it as tightly niched and give yourself plenty of opportunities to actually convert on a plethora. They can go with some general keywords and some tightly niched keywords. So. And that's what we're doing here. That was 1,500, I think. Yeah. Or no, it was 3,000. All right, so now we have our additional 10 keywords, and we want to just verify that it's not over 2 million, but it came up to 220,000. So we're going to go ahead and copy this, and we'll make our last campaign. All right, so back to manage advertising. Campaign. And we'll do Elite Serum 3. Again, a daily budget of $50 starting today, manual targeting, continue the next step. We'll keep it just as ad group 1. We scroll down and find his, find the Elite Serum, select it, and then default bid is again going to be at $3. We actually could probably lower this now that I'm seeing, we could probably lower down to a couple of bucks just because it, when I went into that other campaign, some of the suggested bids were right around $2. But it's okay to start here because if we bid up to $3, it's going to make us more competitive, and it'll make us, like give us a little bit more traffic in the front end, so we can go out there and remove the keywords that aren't converting well, and we're actually getting that that traffic as quickly as possible. So
great.
But there we go.
And this is really exciting. So, an exciting first step.
Oh yeah, and now what we do is we can take all of these keywords that we've already put in there. We want to kind of separate all of these out into their own, like do that kind of research while we have our first 3 campaigns going. We can take all of these keywords that we just did our research on, and we can start separating them out into 10 keyword groups. All right, so this can be a long, drawn-out process, but we start taking pushing them out into 10 keyword groups, and keeping only the ones that are relevant and removing all duplicates, obviously. But I mean, there are literally thousands of keywords that we're talking about here. Okay, so the opportunity for optimizing out past this point is insanely high. Now, imagine if we had taken all of these keywords and just threw them in one campaign because we were lazy.
Right. Yeah, it would be ridiculous.
Oh yeah, we're not going to get as much focused attention on those keywords, and we're likely not going to convert as well because we're not getting that massive exposure for those keywords. We want to try to take these keywords, find the ones that convert well, and scale those up as quickly as possible. All right, so we start with, right now we have a group of about, 22 keywords here. We got an auto campaign running. Okay. So we'll find which of those 22 keywords converts the best, and it's an acceptable level. He's got a decent amount of room to play with his profit margin. So I mean, we're starting out, and you have to take those things into consideration when you're bidding on keywords. So once we get into like where we've gotten some impressions and we go into our advertising reports, we want to dig in here and we want to actually find out, like, if we're not getting impressions, why are we not getting impressions? Requesting reports on this area to see where are we getting impressions, where are we not getting impressions, increase our bids to make sense. So if on these creams, like we wind up going back to one of our other keywords, and this is going to be like a hypothetical situation, but let's say that in our first campaign with the 2 keywords that we had here, the price of his product is $89.95, and we'll just say, for the sake of argument, he makes $60 off of each sale, which we know he makes a little more than that, but it's just a nice start. If anti-aging eye cream was the average bid for this was, let's say, or the average winning bid for this was at like $60. It wouldn't really make sense for us to go for that because his profit margin is $60. and that click-through would be at $60. So you have to go with bids that make sense when you're getting this report. So going into the advertising reports, I'm going to go back to that area. You get your estimated page one bid once you start getting some impressions, okay? And then when you download this, it's going to give you an idea of where you need to bid for some of the keywords. All right, so it's not going to show me it right now, but once it's run for a little longer, then I can start tuning my campaigns up to make sure that I'm getting the most exposure for those keywords to eliminate them as quickly as possible if they're not producing results. And over time, what I want to do is I want to build up a large list of keywords that work really, really well on my listing. All right, and then once I branch out and I have all of those keywords set over here to the right, I know all these are going to convert really well on my listing. I have my variations, and then I duplicate those campaigns to my variations. All right, I can duplicate those campaigns to each one of those variations by making small tweaks inside of each one of these campaigns. So I increase my exposure, I increase my traffic, and all the while I'm doing this, while testing. I'm making sure that it works. I'm making sure that there's enough traffic for this to actually make sense. And the way that I can see that is if I go into advertising reports and I do like let's say a report where I show this month, this year, this entire year by months. I look at how many clicks that I got on any one month. Like say for instance, last month I wasn't doing any of these tests. This month I'm doing these tests, and I look at my clicks and I say, okay, well I increased my clicks by 100, 150 clicks by duplicating my campaigns, or adding additional variations and getting more exposure, getting more traffic. All these things are tests, but I do know for a fact that it increases your footprint across Amazon, and if you're everywhere in your customer's face while they're searching for your product, then they're more likely to buy your product.
Yep, yeah.
As long as you have the good copy and tuned up listing before they get there.
Very good. All right. Well, I want to really thank you, Jack. I think that this is obviously just an extraordinary start, and I know that people's minds are just racing at 1,000,000 miles an hour right now. So this is just a tremendous beginning of things, and I want to thank you.
Well, I hope so. I hope it wasn't too boring. I know some of the cases we were going through, some of it is like a little bit back and forth between
but this is
spreadsheet. But this is really how it gets done.
Yeah, this is the shortcut. I mean, I'll say to people, is it less exciting than like watching TV and drinking a beer? Well, depending on the show, but you don't get paid very much money for that. So I mean, it's not exactly apples to oranges.
Right. And if you look at the boringness of that side of things, that's why people don't do it. That's why they don't go in there and they don't take this time and they don't take the effort to go in and find what converts well on their listing. They don't take the time to dig in and find all these types of keywords. They may seem so obvious to you right now, but once you start branching out into all of these available keywords and you start pushing it further and further and further and further down, that's when you're really going to start seeing all the power of what we're doing. But we're not doing it all at once. We're not taking all of these keywords and throwing them in there at once and just spending all of our money on something and be like, oh, it doesn't work. All right, we're doing it. We're stepping it up strategically. We're stepping it up nice and slow. We're saying, okay, what converts well on my listing? I want to be educated about my listing. I want to know exactly what converts on my listing. This is the absolute best way to do it. This is the absolute, I don't want to say fastest way. I mean, if you got a lot of money, then you can obviously, like open up like 70 different campaigns with 10 keywords in them and test a lot of keywords at once. But not a lot of people have that luxury to go out and test them that quickly. So you can do these on smaller budgets. You can, do some of these keyword groups that I have. You could actually do on a $25 a day budget. Like this one right here is under your $250,000. You could do this on a $25 a day budget, and you're not overextending that budget. So you can drop these things down. Actually, you could do this on a $13 a day budget because it's $250,000.
Right. Yeah, we have our.
So you can extend these.
Yeah, we have our 20,000 per searches per dollar little rule that we're working with right here.
Right. That and not over. We don't go over 10 keywords. So we want to keep it tightly targeted to 10 keywords. Now we'll go in here in some of these cases probably next week, and we may not have some impressions on some of them. We may not. I mean, I don't think that's likely because typically when I launch campaigns, I usually have clicks within the first couple of days. But if we wind up going, say, into Elite Serum 3, and we click on our ad group and we see, some of them, maybe 7 of the keywords have impressions, and then, some of these keywords down here don't. All right. What I would do in that case is take the keywords that don't have impressions, completely remove them from this campaign, and place them into another campaign. I don't believe that we're going to have that problem because these are very tightly relevant keywords to the listing. But the further you go out from the listing, like when you start targeting competition or you start targeting more generic keywords, sometimes it might take a little bit of time before you start seeing impressions or clicks. But there's ways to kind of kick Amazon in the butt and say, hey, look, you need to pay attention to what I'm telling you. Go look back at the listing because it is relevant to these keywords that you're not giving it any traffic for. So you can try boosting it by putting them in another campaign, or you can try boosting it by putting these exact keywords in your listing somewhere and then starting another campaign with these keywords in it. And that way, when Amazon looks at your listing, oh yeah, it is relevant to it, and then they'll start giving you some impressions and clicks on it.
Killer.
And in some cases, it could also be because there's not enough traffic to that keyword. So you want to look back and forth between, like, there's only 500 searches for any one of these, and you're trying to gauge the amount of impressions that you're getting. It's likely that it's just not being searched or hasn't been searched for the time that you've been running your test within that week. So a common mistake that a lot of people make is when they're up here and they're kind of going back and forth between the settings. This is an extremely limited part, of Amazon's sponsored ads. I don't like it. Most people won't like it who've ever done any kind of PPC, because you can't go in and say, well, between this date and this date, what were my impressions and clicks, and did my conversions increase? So typically what I do, I either do it on a weekly test, like a week to date, so that I can see how many impressions I got over my last week, or I do it on a monthly basis. So I might look at last week, and then I might look at week to date towards the end of the week. And this is on I believe, a Sunday to Monday schedule.
Outstanding.
So you have to pay attention really closely to where you have it set, because if you look here, like say for instance on your lifetime, you are getting impressions on this keyword. But if you were on the week to date, maybe you're looking at your metrics and you're saying, oh, well, these right here I'm not getting any impressions on. If you removed these from here and put it in a new campaign, it could have been that you were already getting impressions to it, but there's just not a whole lot of traffic and you haven't gotten any impressions on it this week. So make sure when you're making that determination to remove these from a campaign and put them into another to try to boost or to try to start getting impressions, make sure you're looking at the lifetime of that particular keyword to be sure that it is in fact that you're not getting impressions.
All right, great to know. All right, Jack, really appreciate it. I'm telling you, I think this is absolutely blockbuster, and this is going to freak some people out. I love it.
Well, I hope so. And obviously, if there's any questions about it, then make sure that we ask those questions. So
We will do. We will follow
definitely
up.
here to help.
All right. God bless you, Jack. Thanks so much.
Okay.
All right.
All right, Mike, no problem.